They're not like any colors we have on Earth. I've had people who've had near-death experiences report that's one of the things they remembered when they came back was the vividness of the colors. And even when they come back into the body after a near-death experience, for several days, they still can see everything with this exaggerated colors and almost see the molecules and everything because it has remained with them. But the colors are extremely beautiful, and I said one time, is that a reflection of Earth? They said, oh no, Earth is a very poor reflection of what it's like over there. If you could imagine the most beautiful rose in the most vivid colors, but that it would never die. It would always remain a beautiful rose. That is what the flowers are like over there. But then, also on these hills are these different houses. And the person that goes to the middle astral is given a choice. What kind of a house do you want to live in? Do you want to live in one just like the one you left? Or do you want to live in something different? Or do you want to live in a castle? Anything you want is possible. And do you want to live there with your friends and relatives that are passed on? All of that is possible too. But there's one problem. They think they're going to be there for eternity because this is one thing the church has told them. This is heaven. They're continuing their lives as they thought it should be, as they remembered it should be, with their friends and relatives, and it's their idea of heaven. But they've forgotten about karma. And one day, someone will come knocking on their door and say, well, are you ready? It's time to go up before the boards. They have the boards with the elders and the masters and your guides and guardian angels. We have to go over your life and go before the board. And they'll say, no, this is fine. I like it just like it is. I just want to stay here and enjoy this. But they don't realize they can't because it's just like a little reprieve, but it's not the way it is. The law of karma is too demanding. So they're brought before the board. And the elders and the masters show them their life. They show you everything that ever happened in your life. You're shown all the things you did. But to me, the most disturbing part of all, you are shown everything you did from the viewpoint of everybody else involved. Husbands, wives, or whatever it is you are connected with. You are shown the life from their viewpoint as it affected them. And many times the person will say, I didn't know I hurt them like that. I didn't know what I said affected them that way. And at that point, then they realize, I have to repay that. I must make good on that because what I did was not right. And they're going to have to come back and repay it. Work it out some way. That's where karma comes in. And they make an agreement with the other person involved. If they've already on that side, they will say, well, we didn't do such a good job, did we? We're going to come back and have to do it again. This time you be the husband, I'll be the wife. We just reverse roles, and maybe we can make it work better that way. One thing that's important, there is no one sitting up there on a throne who is going to judge you and chastise you. There is no God that's going to punish you, throw you into hell. There's no God that is going to make you come back and punish you in some way for what you have done and when you return to earth. There's no one up there with a big staff or club saying, no, you've been bad. You have to go back and do thus and such, or you have to go wherever. That is not the way it works. You see your life. You see what you have done to other people. You see their reactions. You realize what you have to repay. You are the judge. You judge yourself. And there can be no harsher judge than you yourself. You're the one that decides the kind of punishment you will delve out to yourself, what you have to repay, what you have to come back and take care of, who you have to take care of these things. You are the one that decides yourself. You can't blame God and say, why did he punish me this way? Why have these horrible things happened in my life? You were the ones that set everything in motion, and you have done it to yourself. You are the judge, and there's no harsher judge than you yourself. And when I'm doing this at a lecture, an auditorium, there's always a lot of people that have questions. And I know many of you have questions going around in your mind. And I'm only touching the surface of some of these things. But I don't know if there's going to be time for people to call in or not. But I do want to tell you about the third place you can go. This is the upper astral. This is my favorite place. This is what I think heaven should be. I think the idea of floating around on a cloud, playing a harp for eternity would be the most boring thing I could possibly imagine. I definitely wouldn't want to have that be my heaven. To me, heaven is learning, knowledge, schools. That is what we find in the upper astral. There's a huge building, several buildings together. It's called the Temple of Wisdom Complex. This is where the more advanced souls go to. Now you remember, you cannot go to any level unless you have attained that level, because your vibration, your frequency will not match these levels. That's why you would go to the lower astral, the middle astral. You cannot climb, you cannot go to the upper levels in the spirit world until you have reached that point. By what you do on earth, by the repaying of the karma, your vibrations and frequencies have to match. You just can't, otherwise you cannot exist there. But the ones that go to the upper astral are the ones who have been learning and wanting knowledge and wanting to progress on. In the Temple of Wisdom complex, there's many parts to it. One part that I found was the Temple of Healing. And this people have written to me about, saying, how can I go there? Well, in the book it says all you have to do is visualize it and picture it in your mind, and you can go there at night when you're sleeping. But this is where people, if they have died a violent death or if they have died from a long suffering illness, they are taken to the Temple of Healing first before they go on to where they're supposed to go, the final resting place, or the final place for the temporary time, I guess you would say. It's not final anyway. But they are taken there, and there's long lines leading into this building. It's extremely beautiful. It's a circular building, has a huge dome on the top. The dome is all kinds of precious jewels, and the light coming down through these jewels casts beautiful colors on the floor in a big beam of light that comes straight down. I had one person that saw it from the outside, and they saw the beams of light shooting up out of the building. So the person is led into the center of this room, and they are bathed in this beautiful light. And it takes away all of the residue that has been on the body, on the soul, I guess you would say. It cleanses away all of the residue remaining from the way they died. And it's like a cleansing. After that happens, then they're allowed to go on. But I was told that it would be a good service if I would tell people they could go to this place while they're still alive. They could go to the Temple of Healing and get healing there also. But also on this part, on the upper astral, are the schools. There is also the tapestry room, where the tapestry of life is found. And in this tapestry, it is a huge, enormous tapestry that covers an entire wall. I'm trying to speed this up. I don't know if I'll have time to talk about it all or not. But everyone has a thread in that tapestry of life. And it shows how, although we are one, we can influence everyone, because our threads are all interwoven with all the threads of every other soul. And in that, it shows how we influence everyone. Everything we do influences someone else. We are one, but yet we are all together. If you realize that, I think you would be much more careful of the things you did and the things you said, realizing we are all together in this journey and this school and these classes and learning. There's not going to be time to go into the rest of the journey. I will try to remember where we stopped so I can continue it next time. But if anyone wants to contact me or contact the office, our 800 number is 1-800-935-0045. 1-800-935-0045. And our website is www.ozarkmountain.com. But the Ozark Mountain is abbreviated. OZARKMT.com. Or if you were in Europe, it's OZARKMT.com. If anyone wants to know about private sessions with me, or if you want to know about the lectures I give, or if you want to know about my classes with hypnosis, you can contact us through that website or the 800 number. Right. Next week, I have a woman who is coming all the way from France. She's one of my publishers in Europe, and she'll be here. I will be interviewing her and letting her talk about her company and the metaphysical books that she prints. Then, hopefully then, the next week, we'll try to continue some of these things. There's just so much information. You can't get it into just 1 hour. Anyway, I've hoped you've enjoyed it. I've hoped you learned something. And these will continue, I guess, Don says forever. I don't know, but we will continue on next week. Have a good night.
You have been listening to BBS Radio, a blogandservice.com production and a Servicers endeavor. Thank you very much for tuning into our radio program, and we wish you much peace and joy on your journey.